Hey boys and girls, and welcome to Miss Weeks' kindergarten class. We have been talking a lot about measurement lately, and we're going to review the different ways that we can measure. So, one way that we can measure is we can measure the length of something. Length, long. When we measure the length of something, we want to see how long or short something is. So, remember, length. Long like a snake and short like a lizard. So the lizard is shorter than the snake. The snake is longer than the lizard. Another way that we can measure is we can measure the height of something. Everyone say high, tall. Your turn. So we can measure how tall or short something is by measuring the height. Remember, the height measures how tall like a giraffe, or short like the birdie. Okay? If it's taller, it goes up higher towards the ceiling or towards the sky. If it's shorter, it's shorter to the ground. Today we're going to be talking about measuring the weight of something. When we measure the weight, we want to see how heavy it is. You've got to use your muscles to pick it up, or how light something is. So today we're going to be talking about the measurement of weight. Remember from our paper earlier, the elephant is heavier. You can't pick up an elephant. It's too heavy. It weighs too much. The leaf is lighter in weight. You could pick up a leaf and throw it in the air. It weighs hardly nothing. So we're going to be talking about different objects and how we can measure those objects by the weight. So I've got a scale with us today. And I've got a couple of objects that we're going to see if they are heavier or if they are lighter, like a leaf or a feather. So this scale, if it goes down, it means that something is heavier. If it's sticking up in the air, that means it's lighter. It doesn't weigh as much. You may have a scale at home that you stand on to see how much you weigh, just like you were at the doctor's office. You always get on the scale and the nurse checks the numbers to see how much you weigh. The bigger the number, the more you weigh. The smaller the number, the less you weigh. So you could practice weighing the family members, you and your sister or your brother, and maybe see who weighs the most or weighs the least amount. Remember, the higher the number, the more something weighs. The smaller the number, the less something weighs. You can always stand on the scale and hold something. You can practice this with your parents. Your parents can stand on the scale and hold a lunchbox. Then your parents can get on the scale and hold a chair and see which number is higher or lower to see if something weighs more or less. So today we're going to be measuring some things. I have some cups here. These are just some plastic cups, and they're filled with things inside of them. So in this cup, we have cotton balls. You might use the cotton balls to clean your face, or to put your mom might put some rubbing alcohol, or the nurse at the doctor's office to clean a spot off on your body if you got a cut. So we've got our cotton balls, and in this cup we have paper clips. We have paper clips that you put on paper to hold stuff together. So we're going to compare the paper clips to the cotton balls. Are you ready? Let's compare the weight. So I have the cotton balls I'm going to put it in this bucket. And in this bucket, I'm going to put the paper clips. Are you ready? Whoa! Let's try that again. Now, which object is closer to the ground? The paper clips. This bucket is closer to the ground. That means that this object weighs a lot more than the cotton balls. The cotton balls are up in the air. That means it doesn't weigh very much. So, if it's sitting on the ground, it's heavier. So, the paper clips are heavier than the cotton balls. Now, I can lift this container of paper clips. It's not heavy. I don't have to use my muscles to pick it up in the air. But it is heavier when you compare it to the cotton balls. So the paper clips are heavier than the cotton balls. Say that with me. The paper clips are heavier than the cotton balls. That means that the cotton balls are lighter. Let's compare something else. Okay, I'm going to pick these up. My buckets are still going to remain on the balance here. So, I have my cup of counting bears. Okay? So, what we can do is we want to see if our counting bears is heavier than the paper clips. Which one do you think will be heavier? Let's find out. Are you ready? So I'm going to put my bears in. Now I'm going to put the paper clips in the other side. Which one's heavier? The paper clips or the bears? Yes, the paper clips. They are heavier than the bears. That means that the bears are lighter. Remember, like our picture? Light like a leaf. Heavy like an elephant. The paper clips are heavier. And the bears are lighter. Let's compare to see if we can find if there's something in my bucket that might be heavier than my paper clips. Let's try the cup of rubber bands. All right, we're going to compare the rubber bands to the paper clips to see which one is heavier. Are you ready? But first, you think about which one of these objects is going to be heavier. I want you to think about that. Let's test it out. Ready? I'm going to let go on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Which group of objects is heavier, like the elephant? The paper clips or the rubber bands? That's right, the paper clips is lower to the ground. So if this group, the paper clips, is heavier, then that means that the rubber bands are lighter. Okay? Everybody say, the paper clips are heavier. That's right. Okay, we're going to test one more thing. I have one more cup left. In this cup, there's pieces of chalk. Now we're going to test to see if the chalk is heavier than our cup of paper clips. I want you to make a prediction. Remember, when we predict, we make a guess. I want you to make a prediction. What group of objects do you think is going to be heavier? Let's test that and find out. Are you ready? I'm going to put paper clips in, my chalk, and we're going to find out. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Which group is heavier, the paper clips or the chalk? That's right, the paper clips. It looks like nothing here was heavier. The rubber bands were lighter, the cotton balls, the chalk, the bears, nothing was lighter in my group besides the paper clips. That means that our paper clips are the heaviest object out of my group of things. Now, of course, there are things that are heavier than the paper clips, but out of these things here, the paper clips was the heaviest. So, I'm going to set that to the side and we're going to compare something else. Let's see. I want to compare the pieces of chalk with the cotton balls to see which group is heavier. Are you ready? Which group is heavier, the chalk or the cotton balls? That's right, the chalk is heavier because that bucket went down to the ground. Okay, let's see. We're going to compare the chalk with the counting bears. Make a prediction and guess which group of objects is going to be heavier. Let's find out. Ready? Ooh, it's a little wobbly. It looks like a seesaw. Let's see. You might have to get down low to see which bucket is closer to the ground. That means that object is heavier. The bucket, the container of bears are heavier than the pieces of chalk. So everyone say, the bears are heavier. All right. Now, I need your help. We're going to measure the chalk and the rubber bands. And I want you, when I put them in the bucket, you're going to tell me which one is heavier. Chalk, rubber bands. Ready? Which object is heavier, the chalk or the rubber bands? That's right, the chalk is heavier. Let's compare two more objects. We're going to compare the rubber bands to the cotton balls. You're going to tell me which object is heavier. Are you ready? Which object is heavier, the rubber bands or the cotton balls? That's right, the rubber bands are heavier than the cotton balls. Let's try some other things that we might find at home. We're gonna test the remote control with the scissors to see which object is heavier. Ready? Oh, it's wobbly. That means it might be close. Let's get down low. Oh, it looks like one side is a little lower to the ground. Can you tell? Can you tell which object is heavier? The remote is heavier. Let's try something else. So I'm going to try my remote control and my pencil. You're going to tell me which object is heavier. Ready? Okay, boys and girls, I need you to tell me which one of these objects are heavier. Remote, pencil. That's right, the remote is because it's lower to the ground. So now we're going to talk about things that are lighter. That means it doesn't weigh as much. Remember in our picture, the elephant is heavier, the leaf is lighter. Everyone say lighter. So we're comparing the weight to see which object is lighter. Which object here is lighter? That means it's going to be up in the air because it doesn't weigh as much. The pencil is lighter than the remote. Let's try something else. So I'm going to try my candy and my scissors to see which one is lighter. Ready? Which object is lighter? The candy. The candy bucket is up higher in the air. That means it's lighter. It does not weigh as much. Okay. Let's try our objects here. Let's see. Let's try the paper clips and the chalk to see which object is lighter. Oh, that was too easy. The chalk is lighter because it's up in the air more. It doesn't weigh as much. Everyone say the chalk is lighter than the paper clips. Your turn. The chalk is lighter than the paper clips. Let's try something else. Ready? The bears, the rubber bands. We want to know which one is lighter. Which object is lighter? Bears, rubber bands. That's right, the rubber bands are lighter. Let's try one more. Ready? We have the rubber bands, the cotton balls. I want to know which group is lighter. Which group is lighter, the rubber bands or the cotton balls? That's right, the cotton balls. So, we're going to be talking a lot about how we can measure the weight of something. Remember, when we measure the weight, we're measuring to see how heavy or how light something is. See you next time.